How you doing, YouTube? This is Mr. Shining Time, back again, making this video on a topic that really gets under my skin, and that topic is the field Negro versus the house Negro. I just watched a video on Gen X, posted by Sergeant Willie Pete. I follow Sergeant Willie Pete. I used to watch his videos when he was still on YouTube. He has some interesting perspective and insight on a lot of things that go on. He likes to go back and forth with people on issues in the black community, and he had a pretty good following here on YouTube. But anyway, getting back to the topic, the house Negro versus the field Negro. This is one of the stupidest things that we do in the black community as far as labeling each other. Okay? The house Negro versus the field Negro. Listen, it's not slave times anymore, alright? Black people are not slaves anymore. Stop thinking of yourself as a slave. Stop with the slave mentality. Alright? I'm not saying everything is great for us. I'm not saying that we are living the ideal lifestyle or that our conditions are perfect. But we're not slaves anymore. As a matter of fact, most African Americans in this country live a better life than the majority of the people in the world. So we aren't slaves, alright? Stop with the house Negro, field Negro bullshit. The world, people are more complex than that. People's motivations are much more complex and intricate than, oh, I'm gonna be a house Negro and I'm gonna be a field Negro. Okay? And not only that, our situation in this country is complex as well. Because, as we all know, the one drop rule, the black community has a lot of people in it who are borderline black, borderline something else. I don't know if that's the right way I want to put it. They're mixed, they're half and half, they're this and that. You know, you got black Hispanics who like to dance the line between black and Hispanic whichever side suits them. You got black and white. You know, some of them don't even want anything to do with black people. So it's not a you can't label anyone who considers themselves black as either field Negro or house Negro. That's silly. You know, we need to drop that. Just because a black man decides to go off to college, maybe a white college, which most of the best universities in this country are, just because a black man decides to go off to college and get an education and try to make a name for himself or try to carve out his own niche in the white community, that doesn't make him a house Negro. And this sort of mentality, this house Negro versus field Negro mentality, it trickles down. It trickles down into the teenagers, into the young adults in the community. You know, the field Negro, we champion the field Negro. That's the champion in the black community. The field Negro busts his ass all day, gets whipped. That's the champion. The house Negro, who has to endure just as many indignities, is not a champion. He's seen as the sellout. This is how they play each other. This is how they play one against another. Divide and conquer. Okay? And if you're out there and you're calling people a house Negro or a field Negro or whatever, you're a simpleton. You're thinking way too simple on the situation, the black community. It's not that simple. Okay? I'm a bit of a sci-fi nerd, and you know, when I hear people labeling each other, oh, he's a house Negro, you know, it reminds me of the Star Wars scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin. When at the end, when Anakin claims that you're either with me or you're against me, and Obi-Wan says only Sith deal in absolutes. What he's trying to tell him is that it's not that simple. Things are not black and white like that, and we need to stop thinking in black and white. We need to elevate our intelligence, elevate our thinking. Stop trying to exclude people from the black community who could be potential help. When people are young and they get labeled a house Negro, oh, you're a sellout, you're a house Negro, you know, Oreo, you know, those people later on, if they get on, they're not going to have anything to do with you quote unquote field Negroes, you champions of the black community. They're going to go off and live in the suburbs and do their own thing. And say, fuck the black community. They didn't want me, so I don't want them. So next time you want to think about calling somebody a house Negro or a sellout, take a step back and think for a second. Is that the right thing to do? What is their motivation for acting the way they are? And do away with this concept of the house Negro. Our condition is much more complex than that. Wake up, look around you. That's all I gotta say about that.